yeah, we're just checking in with everyone and seeing how you're adapting to the new normal.
Well,
Okay, your faces say it all.
so what's
Zoom?
yeah, it's a life of iPad time. I'm teaching all my students. I have some students through Pasadena City College and also the Pasadena Conservatory, and pretty much everybody just jumped on to doing virtual lessons. All my students did FaceTime, Zoom. I did Facebook Messenger lessons. I've done Google Hangouts lessons. So it's been a challenge, but it's at least a way to see all the kids and work with them and stay connected in some way.
Right, at least
and the parents
connected.
too. I miss playing with people. Like when I play with my students, I actually have to have them mute themselves because of the delay in sound. So,
It's been tricky. I mean, for me, when Larry, I know with you, is probably as a conductor, it's been tricky because I have the job at Westwood Presbyterian as music director, and we're doing virtual services every week. So my life is spent on Digital Performer, literally 4 days a week, recording tracks, recording music with sample libraries, and then sending that off to the singers. And then depending on if it's a solo, sometimes it'll be a solo, sometimes I'll be able to do a piece with my section leaders, and I've become a recording engineer. So I have to actually mix it all together. And then of course I get emails, how are you guys singing together? It's like, yeah, we are.
You're not. I'm adjusting.
No, and it's hours of work. And it's kind of a miserable, for me, it's a miserable existence. I don't love working in a digital workstation. It's not I'm good at it, but you're not making music to me. It becomes about looking at literally lines and dots and like notes, and moving stuff around. I mean, one of the things we did the other day, we recorded something together, and I've actually gotten good at even the waveform. There was a passage, because we played it acoustically on the grand piano here, and one of the notes didn't sound, but in the next bar, the repeating phrase did it, and I went, well, I wonder if I can clip it, and figured out how to clip and edit. And
it was fixed.
And I've become a recording engineer, and it's really, really a miserable experience. Because that's why I have a recording engineer in my life. It's an interesting experience. There's part of it that I shouldn't really knock it completely down. There are parts of it that are really cool because you can get a perfect performance. When I go to play something in, I can create a perfect performance and be playing. Even if I miss a note, who cares? I can go back and fix it.
Right. Well, I think the problem with a lot of this stuff is that you're just stuck doing it all day for a never ending. But once we're all out of this, it'll be great that have that skill set, and you need to just throw something together. You'll be able to do it.
Well, I've been doing it for years. I just don't like to do it, and I don't tell people I do it because it isn't really, for me. It's not music making. Like Larry, what you and I do with Finale, I love because I feel I'm going to hear it at some point. There's going to be a reward with a live people putting it together and playing it, but
tell me about
all the instruments on this are me.
I want to know how you guys work together. What's the flow, the plan? How do you do it?
Well, when we work in Finale and stuff like that, we can share files instantly, and we've written projects together, and I've asked Dan several times to reduce stuff that I've had to do for other productions, and he's very good at it. He's reduced my work. It's gone from here to there. I don't mean that in the negative way. I mean in the positive way. Sometimes when we do musical theater, they more often than not want the orchestra cut down. Mm-hmm. And it's not cut down from 50 to 20. It's usually cut down from 20 to 3.
Yeah. That's now a string trio. Oh,
string?
Yeah, strings. What is that?
3 sings doing all the
I think my favorite one is when I took Larry's original orchestrations for Christmas Story. How big was the orchestra, bro? I don't remember what it was.
It wasn't that large. It was like 16. There were no strings in it.
It's like a big band, but we cut down. I think it was so funny because he called me up. He's like, "We're going to do 12," and I went, "You only dropped 4 people." I was expecting like 8, and it was hard. It was still hard though because I mean you're talking a big band with great, really cool voicings. I remember there was one song, and I think it was the "You'll Shoot Your Eye Out" number where I was like, I can't fill all the notes in the chord in. It just they're not enough instruments.
So it's kind of like it's like the Music Man Harold Hill used the think system.
Yeah.
You think that the notes are there, but they're really
And well, Elizabeth, like, I mean, will this be an option for some of your students? That's what I want to know from people. Like, are we going to let our students continue to take lessons like this?
You mean continue after we come back together as virtual?
Because now we've basically given everyone this convenience. It's like, well, I don't really want to drive from Ventura to West Hollywood. Could we just...
Oh my gosh, it has occurred to me. Because, you know, we spend so much time in our cars and I love my car and I love to drive, but I want to actually drive it, not sit in it on the freeway. But it's been so great to be able to do this for so many reasons. To be able to continue working and have a little income cannot be overstated how lucky I feel to do that and to see my students. I just think being together is so much better. I don't think I'm going to continue with the virtual lessons much past when we can be together. Because it's like if I could just move a finger sometimes or, touch an elbow and I can, I'm just screaming, lower your elbow, and they're like, so I'm like, stop. I just hold my hand up in front of the camera, and then when they see it, then they stop so we can talk. But I do feel really lucky that I've been able to do it. I really do.
I don't know about you, but I'm like feeling really appreciated too by the parents who are just like,
very
this
much
is everything right now. Can we have 2 lessons a week?
They really do appreciate it so much, I think, because it gives the kids something to do, and it also gives the parents a little time away. I mean, it's such a big change for a lot of people to have everybody together all the time, and the kids. And
the greatest thing about this, because I know you guys, of course, is now you have lots of time to sample different types of wine. So, no place to go. So, the cellar is open.
Oh, and they're delivering to your front door.
They have to.
Yeah.
So I mean, what I mean is, we've been spending more time cooking our meals and actually having family dinners because a couple of the kids are around, stuff like that. So it's actually improved our lives in a certain way because every night we sit down to a meal together as a unit, and we're sitting here planning meals. In the old days, we were like, where are you going? Where are you going? See you later. So since we have no place to go, and our time is our own, and yes, we have time to practice, and we have time to write, and we have time to do all the things we want to do. But we also have this new world, which is going back in time, actually.
And I mean, we do plan out our weekly meals, which nights we're going to go to the local restaurants and support them. But yeah, the wine cellar has been good. We actually did try something new, Larry, which I can't. What's the name? What was the name? Naked Wines. That's the name.
Yes, I did that one too.
Yeah, we tried one of their sample things and got, I think, 6 or 8 bottles, and a couple of them are really, really good. And then
what did you do the next night?
That's martinis in there. That's the other thing we've been doing is a lot of walking.
Yeah,
2 to 3, 4 miles, sometimes 5 miles. Sometimes we did 5 mile last week.
We did.
Yeah, we did 5 mile last week.
What day was that?
Well, wait.
The trouble is, if I take a 5 mile walk, I need to get a cab to take me back. So,
Well, should we say what we do though?
Yeah, well, we go up into the canyons up here, so we go explore all the houses, and we're doing nice, heavy uphill stuff. But the local peasant, which is over here, it's a restaurant we love, Gastropub. They're open. You can go in and actually get they're like a market right now. But they have alcoholic slushy, so we go take a walk around 5 o'clock and get a lemonade and vodka slushy and take that on the walk.
I just got nervous when you started talking about the local peasant.
I know. Is he talking about me?
Yeah, it's been really cool.
I would say
We get to do stuff like that
No.
when we're, normal day lives. We would be able to take an hour even to take a walk together. And I'm hoping that's something we can find a way to continue to do. I feel like this time has been a gift in that way to sort of highlight what's important, or to highlight that I need to figure that out in some instances.
And enforce it.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really nice to go walking with you, and I hope we keep doing it.
you have to remember to keep doing it, though. When the lights come back on, you have to remember to take the time to take a walk and to have the meals together. I'm sure you do that anyway, but I mean, plan it, because that's what I'm saying. It's a throwback to another time where we have to plan our time a little bit more carefully. I missed the traffic to the Arboretum. So
just getting off the freeway to the Arboretum.
How long does it take? But how long does it take you, Larry, from where you're coming from?
Never more than
2 days.
40 minutes, actually, because because we're in the North Valley, so we take the 210 and it goes right there.
That's better.
So it's a straight shot. The most difficult part is getting off at Baldwin Avenue and making a right turn, which takes 40 minutes.
That's the hard part. You can't turn right on red there.
Yeah.
That's right. You cannot. But that's never stopped me.
Ooh, now I know.
Wow.
But I mean, usually you turn right and there's the traffic. But here's the good news. When you get to the Arboretum, I get to see all you guys, and you get to see me, and it's fun. And I miss that, and I'm waiting for that to return. I'm
so ready. I had all the dates for the concerts penciled in my book. And as I go through, we had the Music Under the Stars or something. And I'm like, I'm racing, and then the next one. It's sad. And I love the Pops concerts because I love that music. It's so fun to be able to play that music as well as the classics during the year. For me, it feeds something in me that I need fed. And so to not have the chance to do that music with you and Michael, it's a real bummer.
Yeah, I also miss, for me, it's like the Pops concerts for me are just so amazing because you guys both, Larry and Michael both acknowledge the arrangers and the orchestrators.
Well, I was saying that it's the time for all you guys in the orchestra who have been trained as classical musicians. Of course, you all work in the studios, but to play a summer of this stuff, and you all treat Jerry Bach the same as Johann Sebastian. It's serious music, and you play it with the same elan and passion, and that's what I love. You guys get up there, and as you know, some of the orchestrations for popular music is much more complicated than the serious music. Because, mostly because a lot of arrangers didn't know what they were doing, but also because they were experimenting, trying to make it as exciting as possible. It's a lot of very effective stuff. And you guys love to dig in. I know that. And I know when Michael pulls out some of the stuff he pulls out of the archives, and you guys go, wow, this is, we've never heard this before. And we get to hear it played, as if it's being recorded. Great. Yeah.
Some of it's really hard, which is fun, actually. It's nice to have those challenges.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It is cool.
It's so neat to hear some of the stuff I've heard there that, stuff I've never thought in my life.
Of course, too, since we're playing this older stuff, a lot of it is hand copied. Now, of course, everything is computer done. But the early hand copied stuff, as you know, as the notes get higher, they get closer together.
Yeah.
So for the violins, they're going up there and saying, I know it's not all that high, but I can't see the note and all that. So I get a kick out of that.
What was the one that you showed me? The part was Anything Goes over George. She was like, look at this. And I'm like, oh, wow. This is somebody clearly having a scotch while they're hand copying this in 1934.
It's when they do the like double or triple notes, you know, on the part, and then you can't. It's like
yes.
And you're like, which one does the sharp go with?
Well, actually, they took an ink pen and they went like that. You know.
Well, I mean, I know, because Larry, I know you obviously started in musical theater where everything was hand copied. When I started, stuff I was looking at was hand copied. And it's funny, I was so used to looking at music like that. And what was it I did? I did Wizard of Oz last year, and I hadn't, I've done it before, but it's been years since I've done it. And now everything is beautifully computer printed. And they're even taking the old stuff and upgrading that. And Wizard of Oz arrives, and the parts are horribly handwritten. I told her, I said, this is so frustrating because I've done the show, but it is so hard to read handwritten parts now that I've lost that skill set. And I actually struggled playing through music that I actually knew.
Well, the other thing...
Yeah, because I'm like, wait, I can't tell what that is. Is it a sharp? Is it a flat? Is it an A? Is it a G? I couldn't tell sometimes on stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Well, as I've often said to the orchestra, don't worry, it's always a half step away.
Dan, tell us about your album. And I want to know about like the
Which one?
You had one just come out, right?
Which one?
No, I haven't had anything come out in a while.
What were we talking about last night on the phone?
Well, Elizabeth and I, we've done a bunch of chamber. I've done a bunch of chamber albums and stuff, and solo piano albums of taking film music and reducing it down and seeing how it works. I did an album of James Horner stuff right after he died, and John Williams album. But then we did a John Williams album. I don't remember what it was.
A million years ago.
It's a while back. It's about 6-7 years ago, probably. Of taking John's arrangements that he's published and released for violin. I think there's like the Victor's Tale from the Terminal with clarinet and piano that he did. And I think we recorded that with Don Foster. Dave Washburn and I did some stuff. And then to fill out the album, I did arrangements in the style of things that weren't available. So I had access to scores and reduced them, and then the album came out, and we got great reviews, and people loved it. And we actually have done a lot of the music from it live together from time to time. You can find it anywhere. It's Amazon, Spotify.
Well, you have to
YouTube.
tell me.
It's called Schindler's List, the film music of John Williams, isn't that it?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
We're horrible salespeople.
Yeah, horrible salespeople. It's a really fun album. I mean, it's really neat to hear John's stuff, because some of his stuff, obviously the violin stuff for whatever the solo instrument is very virtuosic, but the piano stuff too, the accompaniments are very virtuosic. And I've heard him actually play a few of them, and you realize what a phenomenal pianist he is, which we don't ever talk about.
Right.
Well, we forget that, way back in the old days, he was like the pianist on all of Mancini's early recordings.
Yeah, he's the pianist on West Side Story in the movie too. And yeah, it's a trip. You realize how wonderful he is. So it was really fun. We had a really good time doing it.
Speaking of doing things like separately or through technology, there's like 2 or 3 selections on that album where I was in literally a telephone booth, like by myself. Dan and I couldn't see each other. He was outside somewhere, but I could not see him. So we were trying to play these crazy arrangements that John Williams had done, and we could not see each other. It was
scary,
challenging.
It's because when we started the album, it wasn't going to be a whole album. It was just going to be a couple of tracks we did for the particular label that wanted to do it. And then as we realized this stuff's actually pretty good, they were like, let's expand and do an whole album. And at that point, I'm like, let's go into not a small studio like this, but let's go into an actual room that we can actually be spread out.
Next to each other and play together.
You have a head start on the socially distant recording then. So.
Well, I think it needs a volume 2.
Well, I mean, I think Aunt Sophie Mutter kind of did it.
Well, no.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that's published that still hasn't been done, but
I mean,
those arrangements I want to get my hands on, because those aren't available.
She sounds so amazing on that.
Yeah. That's my biggest disappointment for the summer for the bowl. I was ready to buy like a box to go see that concert.
Yeah.
He was going to do it with her, and Like, oh, great.
I have a wonderful question. I think it's wonderful. What is when the lights come back on again, and when this is over? I mean, we're all going to make a transition, and life will be certainly different. I don't know about a new normal. Eventually, it'll go back to the old normal, and certainly.
Yeah, I'll be back to normal.
But what is the first thing you'd like to see happen or do?
I don't know. It's so hard. I think, you know what I want, like, selfishly.
No, what?
I just want to go have a steak at Musso and Frank's and a martini.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I was thinking about that myself. I'd like to go someplace and have a veal chop and a bottle of Barolo. Can't do that at home, but I don't want to cook it.
I know.
I want to go and have it at a good restaurant. And,
Yeah, I think what I miss and what I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to have again, but I hope I appreciate it a bit more, is that idea that you really can go do whatever you want if you have the means and the way to get there. And I was just thinking, I just would love to go see my sister. But I can't. Or not supposed to. I don't want to fly in an airplane, and it's a good 20-hour drive. So I just would like the freedom to say, I want to go do that, and not have to worry about getting sick or making other people sick. That would be nice. I think I miss that freedom, and I look forward to having that back. Or when we say, let's go wine tasting in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I miss that a lot right now.
Just that, and we can just go. If we plan the time, we can go. And I do miss that.
The thing is it is all going to return. It's just...
I'll be back.
But having an appreciation for that, I hope I will hold on to that, because it is a really special thing. And
yeah, there was one night where we'd gone to bed. It was pretty late, and she's lying in bed asleep next to me, and I'm watching the news. I'm flipping channels. I hit CNN, and there's a segment on the fate of theater, and they start showing musicals. Broadway's, a lot of shows are probably going to close that were previews and stuff that had just opened, because we don't know how long it's going to go for. But they're like talking, how is theater going to change and all? And I felt bad because I woke her up. I'm like, oh, come on. We went through 4,000 years of pandemics. Theater really hasn't changed. It'll come back.
It's like
it will be back at some point. All of it will come back. And I make the joke, we'll all be sitting on top of each other in concerts like this,
hacking and
yeah, it'll be back to what it was. It's going to take time.
But I'm happy to see you guys. This is
happy to see you always.
Too.
All right, you guys.
Good way to do this.
This was
fun. It's cool. Thanks for
talking to us.